Want to talk wild card between the Steelers and the Bengals? The 05 wild card. The Bengals' Carson Palmer tearing his ACL on a low hit. In 08, Hines Ward with a jaw-breaking block to Keith Rivers. In 2013, Terrence Garvin of the Steelers breaking punter Kevin Huber's jaw. Le'Veon Bell had to miss a playoff game after that low hit from Reggie Nelson. And then this year, Bell with the season-ending knee injury on a tackle from Vontaze Burfict. Hotly contested, that's putting it mildly. Let's go down to Jamie.
Greg, we heard from the Bengals, a key to today is keeping a cooler head. Well, that plan has already gone out the window as a shoving match already occurred during pregame warmups at the 50-yard line. I was able to catch up with Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. Asked him, what do you say to your team when that happens? He goes, I don't need to say anything. They just did my job for me. Greg, to note, the video was reviewed by the replay booth and there will be no subsequent ejections.
All right, Jamie, thank you. And Mike Tomlin and Marvin, I got to tell you, they are two of the more entertaining coaches to talk to prior to a game, Trent.
Yeah, they were both excited about this game. The funny thing about seeing the pushing and shoving, you see the guys that were involved? Adam Jones not even playing today. He's in a walking boot. He was right out there in the middle of it. James Harrison, he jumps into it. He jumped into it without his helmet on. So, yeah, it was jumping in real quick.
Someone should tell Mother Nature this is December in Cincinnati. 64 degrees starting at their own 20-yard line, and that is Ben Roethlisberger, and he has been on fire. Pittsburgh has scored 30 or more points the last 4 games. Ben has thrown for more than 350 in 3 straight when he's healthy, Trent. He is terrific, and they are terrific.
You know, and they started going a couple weeks ago against Seattle. They went to this muddle huddle where it's not really a huddle formation. He's just telling the plays at the line of scrimmage. They've really gotten into some up-tempo offense. Let's see if they continue that here today.
The crowd already up and on its feet on first down from the 20-yard line. D'Angelo Williams looking for running room and gets 2, maybe 3 yards. Vontaze Burfict in on the tackle. On a good young offensive line, 7th-year left guard Ramon Foster is the veteran, and amongst the bevy of offensive weapons, Antonio Brown. 7 100-yard receiving games this year, 3 touchdowns against the Colts last week.
You can see as they go to that muddle huddle, I just got through talking about, they tell the line what to do first, and then Ben just communicates with the receivers in the backs, so that way they can dictate the tempo they want to play at.
Roethlisberger with time on 2nd and 8, now throws to the outlet. That's Heath Miller, the tight end, and Miller up to about the 28-yard line. The Bengals only allow 16.3 points a game on defense, best in the NFL. And we have a penalty marker down on the field.
Well, Dre Kirkpatrick and Antonio Brown were swinging at each other.
John Perry is our referee today.
They started out jawing and started out shoving with one another, but then there were a couple swings that were thrown in at the end, so that may be what they're trying to discuss. See the little tap on the helmet, then a hit to the face mask, and depends on what they decide to go with.
There's offsetting personal fouls. 84 offense, 27 defense, down counts, 3rd down.
Dre Kirkpatrick, one of the young men that we talked to prior to the game.
Here it is right here. We can see they get into a little shoving match, start talking. You'll see a little tap here by Brown and then a pushback by Kirkpatrick, a few swings, and lucky that these guys both didn't get ejected, but offsetting penalties to start this thing off.
3rd and 1. Roethlisberger, one last look around before the snap. Looking down the sideline and throwing and complete. Marcus Wheaton with the catch and a 1st down. All the way to the Cincinnati 40. That's a 31-yard pickup.
Nice protection by the offensive line, giving Roethlisberger time to pump fake to the short route and getting isolation, the one-on-one down the sidelines against Shaw. You see Pittsburgh with this tempo. Ben was talking to us about this last night. He said, you know, when we do it at the line of scrimmage, when I call the play at the line of scrimmage, I can snap the ball with 18, 20 seconds, or I can change the play based on what the defense does from an adjustment standpoint. So part of their effectiveness is offensively is due to this huddle.
This is D'Angelo Williams, and Williams dancing for about 3 yards before he's wrestled down, and again Burfict in on the tackle, and again in the middle of a scrum.
See, that's one of the offensive linemen. That's DeCastro coming in there trying to get Burfict off the pile, and wasn't anything that Burfict did. It was just an offensive lineman trying to take care of his running back. Watch DeCastro give a little shove there. I have a feeling this is going to go on all day, Greg.
You think? 2nd and 7. Quick pass to the outside. That's complete to Martavis Bryant, and the nice play made on the outside by Leon Hall, the cornerback. Let's finish up that Cincinnati defense. The lightning rod on defense is Vontaze Burfict, number 55, and a talented secondary led by safety Reggie Nelson, an NFL-leading 7 interceptions.
Well, coming into today, the Bengals don't have Adam Jones, and Leon didn't practice much this week. George Iloka didn't practice much this week, so look for the Steelers to take advantage here, continuing to put the ball in the air on this 3rd and 7.
Roethlisberger needs the 30-yard line for a first down. Throwing outside. That is complete to Heath Miller for a first down. Out of bounds at the Cincinnati 27.
Going back to their first matchup on November 1st, Heath Miller had 10 receptions in that game, and understanding the importance that the Bengals defensively put on the Steelers wide receivers, Miller could have a big game again today.
This is Williams. Williams will stutter step, dragged down from behind by Michael Johnson. Heath Miller did not play last week in the win against Indianapolis, recovering from a rib injury. When I asked Ben if Heath was going to play today, he said, I hope so. He practiced all week with us.
Well, they've had some good production out of rookie Jesse James, the 6'7" product out of Penn State, but Heath Miller is Ben's go-to guy.
On 2nd and 10, Williams again, and Williams squeezes through to about the 20-yard line. That'll be about 3 yards shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Well, and the difference there, Greg, is that time D'Angelo was able to get through at that first point of attack. He was able to get running downhill. The previous runs, the Bengals had done a good job of stretching him and making him work sideline to sideline, allowing them to rally and come up and make the tackle. But another big 3rd down for the Steelers.
Like Roethlisberger with a little extra protection in the backfield. Play clock down to 3, down to 2, and he calls a timeout. Had to make some adjustments and then ran out of time, so they use a timeout.
First 30-second timeout.
Down here at the Cincinnati 20. Meanwhile, we said he loves to come back here. Went to school at Miami of Ohio, in the state of Ohio. He's 18-4 against the Bengals. He's 9-2. It's like a homecoming.
Yeah, he's been very productive in Ohio. He talked about growing up near Cleveland. You saw it there with Corey Rawson in Ohio. It's up there by Cleveland. So playing in Cleveland, playing in Cincinnati, he just feels he loves playing in this state, and he was excited about this rivalry. He didn't, it was interesting. He didn't know the exact numbers that he had playing against the Bengals, but he's been very productive in his career.
Let's go down to Jamie.
Ben also said that growing up and playing college football in Ohio, he's used to playing in bad weather. So when we asked him what he felt about this 65-degree game day, he said, man, not what I'm used to in December in Cincinnati, but he will not complain.
I don't think it's anybody's used to it. I don't think anybody's more grateful than Jamie and me.
Yes, I was going to say, don't forget yourself in that, because you got that Florida blood in you. You don't like the cold. So
yay, Mother Nature.
This worked out well for you.
3rd and 3.
Now, prior to the timeout, the Bengals had shown they were going to be in man-to-man coverage. They had everybody stacked near the line of scrimmage. This time, it looks as if both safeties are going to be a little bit deeper, doing more of a cover 2 shell.
Roethlisberger throwing right over the middle. That is complete to Antonio Brown inside the 5. to about the 1. It'll be 1st and goal. And the jawing continues. And the Steelers to the line of scrimmage in a hurry. Williams straight ahead, short of the goal line.
Well, that would be pretty notable if the Steelers ran it in for a touchdown. Neither one of these teams allows many touchdown runs, only 4 touchdowns. Look at this is what I talk about with the cover 2. So you have the 2 safeties, so that leaves this entire middle of the field open, and that's where they're able to attack. In the first matchup was Heath Miller in the middle of the field, and Ben said in order for us to be productive, we have to get the wideouts involved in the middle of the field. That time getting Antonio Brown on a crossing route to where the Bengals had vacated in the middle of the field.
2nd and goal. Roosevelt mix in the backfield along with D'Angelo Williams. This is Williams again to the end zone for the touchdown.
Like I said, just the 5th rushing touchdown allowed by the Cincinnati defense. Watch Maualuga here. He's going to try jumping over the pile, and D'Angelo Williams sees that and is able to cut back. He jumps over, tries the timeout where D'Angelo Williams is going to go, and had he stayed on his feet, they would have met right in that lane there, that A gap between the guard and center. Instead, he jumps and tries the timeout. Doesn't work out.
Steelers kicking the extra point, and it is good. Interesting moments here in Cincinnati. 7-0 Steelers. D'Angelo Williams, who scored his 7th rushing touchdown of the season, caps an 80-yard drive on the 11th play of the drive, and then was a 20 in running room, 30. Penalty markers fly behind the play as he is brought down at about the 37-yard line. And a little fracas on the sideline doesn't amount to much. Shamarko Thomas ran him out of bounds. Let's check with John Perry.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10, timeout.
So John Perry's message is, we don't know who did it, but somebody did it. D'Angelo Williams. It's not hard to find a Steeler fan even when you're on the road. It's the holiday train display at the Cincinnati Museum Center as we welcome you back to Cincinnati. The penalty pushes the Bengals back to their own 10-yard line. Jeremy Hill in the backfield behind Andy Dalton. On the play fake, rolling, throwing, sideline. That is complete to A.J. Green to about the 27-yard line for a 1st down. And Andy Dalton, in his 5th NFL season, become one of the very best in the league. 25 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions, and has truly become a team leader by everyone's account.
Well, and that's the people we've talked to, the players on the team, the coaches we talked to just said he's much more assertive, he's much more comfortable in that leadership role, and it started in the offseason, and it's carried over here, and you can see that confidence he's played with this season.
Look at Andrew Whitworth flanking way out here to the near side, the left tackle. And this is Hill, and Hill is going nowhere. Ryan Shazier leading the charge on defense.
Trying to catch the Steelers and confuse them here. So here's the lineman. He's out here. If you see the Steelers from a response standpoint, defensively, they don't really match up with it. You can see the confusion, jumping around, trying to get bodies in place. Shazier jumping to the outside, trying to figure out what exactly the Bengals were trying to do offensively. But you can see with the response of the guys up front.
Here comes Whitworth again to the near side of the field on 2nd and 12. Dalton throwing over the middle, diving for it. That is caught, and a penalty marker is thrown. Tyler Eifert with the grab at the 43-yard line.
This time the Bengals split out both Whitworth and Andre Smith. They move both tackles out, only leaving.
Ruling on the field is a catch. Personal foul. Defense, number 23. Contact to a defenseless player. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Now Pittsburgh coming into this game, 68 penalties, fewest in the NFL. But Mike Mitchell gets hit with one here.
And you saw Whitworth and Andre Smith to the outside. Now they are still linemen, so that's why they had to stay behind the line of scrimmage. Eifert on the slant. Mitchell, we saw the last game, Greg, you mentioned it at the top, the hit that he put on
Marvin Jones. And this is Jeremy Hill. And Hill all the way to the 30-yard line. We get our first update from the NFL Today in New York. JB and Coach Cowher.
And the Eagles strike first.
And Darren Sproles, 1 yard out in his touchdown run. Stan Bradford, 3 of 4 on the drive for 32 yards, 7-0 Eagles.
Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Jamie Erdahl.
All right, guys, thank you very much. That mishmash of a race in the NFC East up for grabs. First down, Bengals at the Pittsburgh 30. Bengals have gone 60 yards in 4 plays. Pump fake. Dalton going for it all. Far sideline. Incomplete. Intended for Marvin Jones, covered well by Antoine Blake. Up front for Cincinnati, talk about a team leader. Left tackle Andrew Whitworth in his 10th season out of LSU. And in tight end Tyler Eifert, the Bengals have the NFL's leader in touchdowns scored. In his 3rd year out of Notre Dame, Eifert has 12 of them.
You know, this is the 2nd play in a row, Greg, that they have Eric Winston in, the backup offensive tackle. He's playing an extra tight end. They're trying to cause confusion. We saw him split out Smith and Whitworth earlier. Now with Winston in the game, just trying to get some balance issues for the Steelers.
This is Hill, and Hill tripped up just about at the line of scrimmage, looked like by Shazier. The Steelers 3-4 defense, number 97, Cameron Hayward, a team-leading 5 of the Steelers' 35 sacks. Had very active and hard-hitting linebackers included number 50, Ryan Shazier. You saw him there. And they don't hit much harder than 7th-year safety Mike Mitchell. Homecoming day for him. Played his high school football right across the river in Fort Thomas, Kentucky. Giovanni Bernard into the backfield on 3rd and 10 for Cincinnati. Dalton flips it to Eifert. Eifert has a first down and more. Still on his feet inside the 10 and out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. A 23-yard pickup.
Andy Dalton looking off to his right where A.J. Green is lined up. He gets double covered over there, leaving single coverage on the backside. Just the quick tight end screen to Eifert. Gets that wall of blockers in front of him. Able to pick up the first down. Get him to 1st and goal, Greg.
1st and goal at the 6-yard line. This is Hill. Inside the 5 to about the 4. Forward progress will be marked just inside the 5-yard line with 5.5 to play here in the 1st quarter. We mentioned it to both coaches, Trent, that the first, with so many offensive weapons on each side, the first meeting between these two was a real anomaly at only 16-10.
Well, and both teams went down and scored on their first possession of the game, and then as you said, Greg, it finished up 16-10. Now the Steelers went down and scored their first time. Bengals are in position to score their first time. See what kind of adjustments the defense can make.
Dalton. Short pass is picked off. Intercepted by Stephon Tuitt. Number 91, the defensive end out of Notre Dame.
Andy Dalton on his career has been outstanding in the red zone.
Moving on the field is an interception. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh. Timeout on the field.
There's Tuitt. They're just going to try running a quick little screen. Tuitt reads it, jumps in front, gets the interception.
A reminder, never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, score, game, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. And Andy Dalton taking a walk, looks like, to the locker room. They were looking at the thumb on his throwing hand, and we will see if he returns shortly. If not, A.J. McCarron, the rookie quarterback from Alabama, would be on deck. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Williams to about the 9-yard line. Let's go back to the interception.
Well, Stephon Tuitt, he's going to read it. He's getting upfield. What Giovanni Bernard needs to do is he needs to block and then peel off it. Instead, he just gives him a little dip of the shoulder. Tuitt reads it, is able to get the interception. And I think coming up here on the tackle where Dalton tries to make the tackle, that's where he injures the thumb. And that's why he ended up going to the locker room and potentially getting x-rays on him.
All right, 2nd and 6. Williams again. Across the 15 to about the 17-yard line. That'll make it about a third and 2 or 3. Vontaze Burfict in the middle of the tackle.
On the Steelers going back to the last drive, yes, they went down and scored. Roethlisberger was 5 for 5, but it was third down conversions that made that drive. They were 3 for 3 on third down conversions. Now getting to 3rd and short. You see them huddling up. Obviously, this is an important down, and they didn't want to go with the muddle huddle. More getting the guys together, make sure the communication is correct.
The official word from the sideline is Andy Dalton's return is questionable as they look at that right thumb on his throwing hand. 3rd and 2. And we get a timeout called, looks like by Pittsburgh, and that is their second used here in the first half with 3:35 to play in the first quarter. Back at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Steelers hold a 7-0 lead coming up on 3.5 to play in the first quarter, and Pittsburgh looking at a 3rd and 2. D'Angelo Williams alongside Roethlisberger in the backfield, but Ben's going to throw for it. And that is complete just across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. Heath Miller going up high and a little pushing and shoving again. Vontaze Burfict undercut Miller. This is a couple of plays earlier.
Well, and Jarvis Jones, 95 for the Steelers. You see him come in and make contact on Andy Dalton. Not sure from that angle if it ends up hitting his right thumb, but then we move forward to the interception, and on the tackle, you can't really see where the thumb injury happens, but he's definitely back in the locker room getting it checked out.
Meanwhile, new set of downs for the Steelers, and here's D'Angelo Williams. Williams bouncing to the outside and across the 30. He'll be marked just across the 30-yard line. Now let's go to that second short pass.
Well, and here's Dalton here, and you're going to see as he comes up and makes the tackle, you can't really see if his thumb gets involved. It's more of his shoulder that he's tackling with. But that thumb, as it swings out, could come into contact with Tuitt's leg. So there's really, we tried to go back and look at as many plays from that drive as possible to see if he was ever favoring that right thumb, and those are the 2 plays that stand out to where it could have happened.
2nd and 1.
Alert, 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 alert!
Play fake. Roethlisberger throwing. That's complete to Antonio Brown across the 45 to the 47-yard line, and another Pittsburgh first down. Dre Kirkpatrick making the tackle.
When you saw Ben as he went to the line of scrimmage, you could even pick it up, yelling alert, alert. So they're going to, whatever their backup play to that call was, so they could get the isolation on Antonio Brown. And Ben Roethlisberger dealing with some injuries this year. Takes a shot from the Bengals, able to get up.
Gee, number 55, Vontaze Burfict right in the middle of it. That was a 16-yard pickup. Roethlisberger 7 for 7, 8 for 8. Inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Once again, Antonio Brown.
Brown, this is just going to be a curl route or an inside dig route, and when you play cover 2 where you have the corner getting soft there and you have a safety to the middle, it's just finding that open space in the middle of the field. Last series it was on a quicker route, just a quick cross route to Antonio Brown, that time going up and sitting inside the numbers and then drifting to the middle of the field. So the Bengals have to address that those big spaces in the middle.
Under a minute remaining here in the first quarter. Williams. And Williams spinning to about the 32, maybe the 33. Thursday on NFL Network. The Bucs chasing a wild card spot. Heats up. They take on the Rams. Then a special Saturday edition of Thursday Night Football. The Jets and the Cowboys continue their respective push for playoff spots. 2 huge showdowns this week only on NFL Network. Jameis Winston and Todd Gurley. A couple of youngsters, promising youngsters.
Yeah, a couple of rookies getting after it. It'll be exciting to see them on Thursday night.
And now Cincinnati uses a timeout, stopping the clock with 18 seconds to play in the first quarter. Marvin Lewis wants to talk things over with his Bengals.
$7-0 late in the first quarter here in Cincinnati. You will be seeing A.J. McCarron under center the rest of the game. Andy Dalton is out with a right thumb injury. Greg, Mohamed Sanu is their emergency third quarterback.
All right, Jamie, 2nd and 5 for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger rolling all kinds of time and throws short to Miller. And Miller is dropped at the 32-yard line. And that looks like that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Lots of action, 1 touchdown scored, and a 7-0 Steeler lead. Back to Cincinnati in just a moment. And some good news to pass along. Former Bengals defensive tackle Devon Still found out his daughter Leah is cancer-free after her latest round of tests. Leah was initially given a 50-50 chance to live after her original diagnosis of stage 4 neuroblastoma last year. Still's jersey sales netted over $1 million in donations to pediatric cancer research. That is good news indeed. Pittsburgh with a 3rd and 5. And the Steelers have been 4 for 4 on 3rd down so far today.
You got D'Angelo Williams on the outside and Antonio Brown in the backfield trying to change up the look for the Bengals defensively.
Roethlisberger on the move, going to run it. And dives forward for the first down to the 26-yard line. Talk about Andy Dalton.
Well, we're able to find some footage trying to see where Andy Dalton hurt his thumb. You're going to see his right hand come out here and make contact right there. He just made contact with Tuitt's knee. Watch the thumb hit that right knee as he's going to the ground making the tackle. And what we've been able to piece together is that's where we think the injury occurred.
So A.J. McCarron poised to take over whenever they go back on offense. This is Fitzgerald Toussaint, the running back out of Michigan. And some more pushing and shoving. Antonio Brown, not the first time that he's been in the middle of things today. John Perry sorting it out before he lets us know. Here's John.
Personal foul, illegal crackback. Offense, number 84. 15-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So the foul is on Antonio Brown.
Well, Antonio Brown, you're going to see right here, comes in on the crackback, but I want you to keep an eye on, after this block, Reggie Nelson jumps up and grabs Antonio Brown, first by the shoulder pads, then up around his face. And you see the rest of the defense responding.
One of those natural rivalries, the cities of Cincinnati and Pittsburgh less than 300 miles apart.
Well, and that's a crucial penalty because of where it pushes them back now. Did have a first down inside the 30, now out past their 40. You and I were talking at commercial a little while ago saying really Antonio Brown was lucky he and Dre Kirkpatrick weren't thrown out of the game on that initial drive when they both were throwing punches at each other, because it very easily could have happened. So wouldn't have been good for this football game, but it maybe would have sent the message, because as this, what do you say, chirpiness continues? Chippiness, that's right, between these two.
Well, John Perry talked to Mike Tomlin, and now he's on the near sideline with Marvin Jones. Or Marvin Lewis.
Well, I'm sure he's trying to let both coaches know this isn't going to continue. We can't have this. We're going to send a message here pretty soon if this continues on. You got to take control of the game, and John explaining that to both coaches.
Meanwhile, it's a 1st and 25 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger running out of time and throws it away.
I'm going to say he was outside the pocket.
That is tight end Tyler Eifert. And he
No foul for intentional grounding. The quarterback was out of the pocket.
Is walking off. We would assume after about to undergo the concussion protocol.
Well, the gentleman wearing the blue hat as he was walking off the field, that's the specialist on the sideline that does the independent evaluations. And so when you see them going with the player into the locker room, that's the indicator.
On 2nd and 25. Quick flip to Williams. D'Angelo Williams diving to the 35. The concussion protocol, when a player is identified as a possible recipient.
Well, and the key there is that blue hat is the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. They're going to be taken back to the Eifert will be taken for an evaluation, and it'll be determined whether or not he can come back and play, or if he's determined to have a concussion as Pittsburgh facing a key 3rd down here, Greg.
Quickly becoming a war of attrition. Still 13 minutes to play in the first half. Roethlisberger, far side. That's complete. Tight end, it's Tavis Bryant on the outside. And that will bring them up about 8 or 9 yards short of a first down, so that means the field goal unit onto the field.
Well, and the Bengals were content to let them catch the ball underneath, come up, rally, make the tackle, and force them into a field goal situation. You don't want to give up a big play, especially that down and distance. Where you are on the field, you don't want to say it's okay to give up points, but it's better to give up the 3 than it is to give up the big play for the touchdown.
Chris Boswell joined the Steelers back in Week 5 and has been pretty good since then. He gets the kick away, and it is good. 12:33 to play, first half. 10-0 Steelers. With that field goal, the Pittsburgh Steelers have now scored points in 15 consecutive quarters of play. Oswell's 42-yarder giving the Steelers a 10-0 lead with 12.5 to play in the first half. Brandon Tate is deep for the Bengals. Low kick bounces at about the 10. Tate scoops it up at about the 3. And just across the 20 and not much further, Vince Williams leading the charge for the Steelers. Saturday, college hoops swings into high gear with the CBS Sports Classic. First, UCLA takes on 3rd-ranked North Carolina. Then it's Ohio State against the 5th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. It all starts live at 12:30 Eastern with Inside College Basketball here on CBS. Onto the field comes A.J. McCarron out of Alabama. His NFL life is 3 completions in 4 attempts.
Well, 5th-round pick last year in the 2014 draft. Looks like it's his team for the rest of the way.
He'll throw. And that is complete. A across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. A little extra added pushing and shoving on the sideline. A.J. Green taking offense.
Well, and you wonder if this flag coming in is going to be because something Eric Winston said to the official as he was going off the field, or if it's going to be the extracurriculars that went on physically after the play.
After the play, personal foul, defense, number 41. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's Antoine Blake. Mike Tomlin wants to know why. I suspect he knows.
Well, look where the contact is made, so you can see the whistle was blown, and that's what it was right there. The hands to the face is what drew the foul.
It is a first down. Giovanni Bernard in motion. Karen going to throw again. And up the middle, incomplete. And a penalty marker thrown on the far side of the field. A.J. Green guarded by Ross Cockrell.
Pass interference, defense, number 20. Spot of the foul, automatic first down.
Penalty is on Will Allen. Let's go to New York. Mike Carey standing by. Mike, as a referee, what do you do when a game is this chippy? You knew it coming in, and it's living up to expectations.
Yes, from the very start, when anytime you have an altercation, whether it's one or two players or in the pile, it's imperative that each official grab the one who instigated it, let them know clearly that they may be having the best seat in the house if they're not careful.
All right, Mike, thank you. This is Jeremy Hill, and Jeremy Hill goes nowhere. And Mike, does that include talking to the coaches as well?
Yes, you like to take care of it on the field. If you get on it quickly, you can keep a high-level game without the chippiness. Once it starts to escalate, then it's time to stop the game, go tell each head coach that he's going to start losing players if they don't take control of the game.
All right, Mike, thank you for what we've seen so far. I'm going to weigh in on the escalation side right now.
Yeah, I think it was pretty clear John Perry felt the same way. He did talk to both head coaches, and we'll see how it progresses moving forward.
2nd and 10. Karen on the move and got rid of it and threw it away. Let's go down to Jamie. Well, Jamie not there yet, but there is Andy Dalton with his thumb wrapped. Okay, Jamie, go.
Well, Greg, Andy Dalton, we see they're out for the game with that thumb injury. Also, A.J. McCarron will not have Tyler Eifert for the time being. He's going through that concussion protocol. He's doubtful to return. Defensively, Vontaze Burfict, he's a probable to return with a neck injury, but George Aloka grimacing on the sideline with a groin injury. He's also doubtful.
All right, Jamie. Tyler Croft is in at tight end for the Cincinnati offense. McCarron, time to throw. Got rid of it and right through the hands, and then the hit by Antoine Blake on Giovanni Bernard.
Well, with all the injuries the Bengals are dealing with offensively, not only a quarterback, but that makes it difficult for Hugh Jackson as we see the end of the play, and the crowd wanted a penalty on Blake for coming in with the late hit. But when he's coming forward to make that hit, you don't know if he's going to catch it or not. So I understand what the crowd was upset about, but
Mike Nugent lining up a 54-yard attempt. He hasn't made one from 50 all year long, and this one falls short. Nugent's longest of the season had been 47. He needed another couple. It's still 10-0. Look at the John Roebling Bridge, and yes, that is in Cincinnati on a December day. First down, Pittsburgh. from their own 44. Roethlisberger with time. Sideline pass is caught by Antonio Brown. Talk about the kind of day it was. As we expect chippiness, started in the pregame. Vontez Burfict and Vince Williams extended into the regular game. That's Dre Kirkpatrick and Antonio Brown. And then Burfict. And then Blake. Here's D'Angelo Williams. Dragging his man to the 45 of the Bengals. Carlos Dunlap with the tackle.
Well, the Steelers jumping up and getting on that ball quickly. I know we've been talking about the muddle huddle they've been doing to go tempo, but that time with only a yard to go, they jumped up, got the ball snapped quickly, able to get the first down.
Roethlisberger. The short flip to Marcus Wheaton for a short gain. A reminder, season of fan favorites and incredible competition comes to $1 million conclusion. Find out who will emerge as sole survivor and see the castaways reunite live Wednesday, starting at 8/7 Central, only CBS.
I don't know about you, Greg, but I'm a Survivor junkie. I've watched all the seasons, and Wednesday's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it scares me. It scares the heck out of me. I don't see any place you can order in.
You definitely can out there.
2nd and 6. And this is Williams with running room up the middle. Tripped up at the 30, forward to about the 25. Josh Shaw, the rookie out of USC, making what might have been a saving tackle.
When you talk about the Bengals losing Andy Dalton, losing Tyler Eifert, so now the pressure is on the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals. How are they going to respond? The #1 scoring defense in the National Football League has yet to stop the Steelers from scoring on their first 2 possessions, and now the Steelers are already down in field goal range. They need to respond, come up with a big turnover.
D'Angelo once again, just inside the 25. Boy, he was one happy fellow when we talked to him last night, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was the first time really getting a chance to talk to him, and he mentioned, we brought up the fact that he's 32 years old. He goes, everybody wants to make a big deal about this age thing. He goes, I don't feel any different now than I did, 8-9 years ago when I came into the league. He said that it's just more opportunities. It was a dual back in Carolina. Now with Le'Veon out with an injury for the remainder of the season, he said, I just feel like I'm better because I'm getting more chances.
On 2nd and 8, play fake to D'Angelo Williams, looking for the end zone. The pass is incomplete. Martavis Bryant ruled out, and it'll be 3rd and 8.
And you really can't put this ball any better than what Ben Roethlisberger does. You see Kirkpatrick looks like he maybe got in there a little bit early with that left arm. But that's one the Steelers they have to be able to bring in.
Well, you're right on the money. Roethlisberger's throw, 3rd and 8. Roethlisberger with time, now running out of time, and wrapped up at the 30-yard line by Michael Johnson.
Johnson putting the pressure on. And there's really, you have the matchups, you have the one-on-ones, you have Miller, you have the back coming out. This is not the offensive line with the breakdown. It's more of a coverage sack. So you look here, you have 2-on-1 here. There's an open man back here, but look where Roethlisberger, his eyes are looking this way, so he doesn't see the curl on the backside and nowhere to go with the football. You'd like to see him throw the ball away, but this is still within field goal range.
Boswell from 47 yards out looks good right down the middle. And with 7 minutes to play in the first half, put another 3 on the board for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lead at 13-0. Let's look at D'Angelo Williams. 8 plays, 27 yards, and Boswell's field goal. giving Pittsburgh a 13-point lead, and you thought that was a pretty good defensive stand considering the consequences for Cincinnati.
Yeah, based on where the field position was that the Steelers took over with, yeah, you'd like to get the turnover, get the ball back, but holding them to a field goal and keeping this a two-possession game was very important for the defense.
Brandon Caden will not get a return out of this one. The touchback will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Week 14 continues later today on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. This series has been dominated by Pittsburgh, leading at 56-35. And here in Cincinnati, the Steelers have won 20 of the last 25 games. As you look at Ben on the sideline, A.J. McCarron at quarterback in place of injured Andy Dalton. He will not return today with the injured thumb on his throwing hand. Bernard across the 30, fighting his way close to the 35-yard line. Trent, you ever been in a game where almost every play was contentious between the two sides?
I've been in a few of those, but it's important to understand with A.J. McCarron now underneath center as the quarterback, just the play selection that offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson has to pick from. You're not going to be able to call everything because A.J. doesn't get the same number of reps during the week of practice that Andy Dalton did.
McCarron going to go deep, got his man open, it is caught! A.J. Green shaking off two tacklers, and he's got the touchdown!
You don't have to be real complicated with your play calling when you have A.J. Green. You got one-on-one on the outside. A.J. McCarron just throwing a little pat and go, throwing it down the sideline, beating Antoine Blake. Mike Mitchell coming over the top to try and help.
A.J. McCarron's first NFL touchdown pass is a dandy 66 yards.
When you saw the little stutter and go that A.J. Green did on Antoine Blake, came off the line of scrimmage, and all that did was freeze. All that did was freeze Antoine Blake.
Wow, and is that a penalty? Is that penalty worthy? Green kicking the ball into the seats. Nugent for the extra point. And it is good. 6:23 to play. The Cincinnati Bengals right back in it. A.J. McCarron to A.J. Green. 66 yards and the touchdown. And A.J. one happy fella, and so is Andy Dalton. We got ourselves a ball game, 13-7 Steelers. This Cincinnati crowd has come to life here at Paul Brown Stadium. As you look at the injuries today, Andy Dalton out. Tyler Eifert has been ruled out for the rest of the game due to a concussion. Vontaze Burfict is probable, and George Iloka is doubtful for the Bengals. Marcus Wheat will not run this one out, and so we'll start from the 20-yard line, and once again, a little additional pushing and shoving on the field. There is the kick after the touchdown by A.J. Green. And from New York, Mike Carey says, yeah, that definitely should be a penalty, something you would think Mike Tomlin is reinforcing.
Yeah, he sees everything, and that's what he wanted to make the officials aware that they missed that. I'll tell you right now, the league office won't miss it. He'll be getting that FedEx package on Wednesday, letting him know the fine for kicking it into the stand.
You knew your FedEx delivery guy by name, didn't you?
No, I saw him delivering to everybody else's lockers. I tried staying out of that.
Sean Williams is in for George Iloka at safety. Vontaze Burfict is on the field as the Steelers start at their own 20-yard line. Take the pass, give to D'Angelo Williams, and Williams to the 23. As they untangle bodies, we remind you tomorrow on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Stephen welcomes Jennifer Lawrence. Plus later this week, Robert De Niro and Homeland's Mandy Patinkin, only CBS. touchdown and 2 field goals on each of their first 3 possessions. The Steelers work 2nd and 7. Williams again. Thought it was interesting to hear D'Angelo Williams talk about how he learned from the younger Le'Veon Bell as far as learning patience, because he has throughout his career been a north-south runner.
Well, and he said the running style or the running system that they had in Carolina was more about hitting and attacking as quickly as you could, whereas the running game with the Steelers is more about patience, allowing your linemen to set up the blocks. You can see the official, John Perry, stopping the game, making one of the players come off the field to get evaluated. That's one of the areas that they want. Leon Hall is the one that they want to be evaluated. They've talked to the officials about being aware of players that may need some assistance, and so he stopped the game to let Leon Hall get off the field.
Meanwhile, rookie free agent Troy Hill in to replace him on 3rd and 8. Roethlisberger over the middle has his man for a first down to the 35-yard line, and that's Heath Miller.
Well, and you just can't give Ben Roethlisberger that much time. He was able to work through his progression a couple times. As you see this protection, both sides get chips before they go out in their route, but that pocket just formed right around Ben, and he has time to pick up the first down.
Roethlisberger passing. That one is just a disconnect from Martavis Bryant. 2 plays ago, see what happened to Leon Hall, the cornerback. That was the hit right there. And he was slow coming back. Had to go out for 1 play.
Well, and that's what John Perry saw.
And we have another couple of players down. 1 Steeler and 1 Bengal. We'll take a break. With all of the key matchups going on, you won't want to miss the Verizon halftime report. JB and the guys with the latest scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Alejandro Villanueva being looked at on the sideline. Chris Hubbard has replaced him at left tackle. And the man with the blue hat tells you about the possibility of a concussion. 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger's quick pass, and that's Heath Miller. And Miller rambles close to the 45-yard line. Be about a yard short of a first down. Meanwhile, Leon Hall has returned to the field for the Bengals. Sorry, Trent.
No, I was just going to say, now you're into a 3rd and short, so you have all kinds of possibilities. If you're the Steelers, you're 6 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. You can either spread them out and get those isolation routes and then try and get the inside run, which is what they've done a couple of times.
3rd and short. Roethlisberger will throw for it over the middle, and that is complete to Miller for the first down. Always talk year in and year out about a quarterback security blanket. That is exactly what Heath Miller has been for Ben Roethlisberger.
Over the years, it's incredible that they've been on the same page as much as they've been. And Heath Miller that time just going up against Reggie Nelson, getting past the first down sticks, turning around, boxing him out, basically acting like a power forward, using his body to block him out and pick up the first down.
Miller, 7 catches for 45 yards today. Roethlisberger this side to Martavis Bryant, and he's across midfield to the 47 of the Cincinnati Bengals. NFL fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLshop.com today and save up to 20% at the official store of the NFL, NFLshop.com. Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. On 2nd and 4. Roethlisberger, 17 of 20 for 163 yards so far. Quick slant. in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Antonio Brown. Dre Kirkpatrick covered. Remember, a win for the Bengals today clinches for them the AFC North. Pittsburgh trying to stay alive in the wild card race. Michael Johnson is off the field and on the ground. You got on the sideline for the Bengals.
Oh, sorry, Greg, but you have Antonio Brown down here, but you're getting help. Whereas you have one-on-one up here at the top of the screen on Martavis Bryant. So with the help over the top to Brown, look for Ben to go the other way.
Roethlisberger throwing over the middle, incomplete. Overthrew everybody. Sean Williams got a hand on it, but it'll be 4th down.
Or he could try going to the double team and squeezing it in between, one way or another. But sometimes you have so much confidence in a receiver and you have so much confidence in yourself that you try making the improbable play. But Ben will probably end up kicking himself when he sees that Heath Miller leaks out to the right flat and nobody covers him.
Jordan Berry to kick it away. Brandon Tate back inside his own 10-yard line. High. And he'll let it bounce, and it's not going to make the end zone. What a great kick by Jordan Berry, down by Darius Hayward-Bay at the 2-yard line.
Well, now you have to be a little careful if you're the Bengals. 2 minutes and 23 seconds. You've got a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of experience. You're down here on your own 2-yard line. You have the 2-minute warning coming up. So from a play calling standpoint, you have to be very selective.
And reminder once again, the Verizon halftime report. 2 minutes and 23 seconds away. James
Number
Brown
70 is reported as an eligible receiver.
and all of the guys back in New York with scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. So here's A.J. McCarron with his back to the goalpost. And the quick pass to the far side, and that is A.J. Green. And Green out across the 5 to the 6-yard line.
That actually surprised me a little bit there, Greg. Instead of going with the run play, try and push it away from the goal line, getting a quick throw. It's a safe throw, but still, nonetheless, it's a little more risk involved.
Yeah, some defensive coordinator, 2 minutes to play
This is
in the first half. Here's Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator. What does he dial up here?
Well, I think you have to understand that Pittsburgh only has 1 timeout left, so you want to keep this clock rolling. And you're dealing with a young, inexperienced quarterback, so I'd run the ball here and force the Steelers' hand on their timeout.
Jeremy Hill, the deep back.
Or A.J. McCarron could change the play at the line of scrimmage.
He'll give it to Hill. Hill busts it to the outside to about the 9-yard line. That's well short of the first down. Ryan Shazier and Lawrence Timmons in on the stop. And we get timeout on the field.
third. Final timeout, Pittsburgh, 30 seconds.
Back in Cincinnati, 1:52 to play in the first half. And Pittsburgh with a 13-7 lead, looking to add to it. They use their third and final timeout to stop the clock.
Well, and I think you either have to do a quick draw here out of shotgun or a very safe short throw. You want to make sure that you keep the clock running.
Quick pass. Mohamed Sanu for only about a yard. So now they'll have to kick it away, and Cincinnati will get the ball back with 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, you just use up as much clock as possible. That was the right play call in that situation. Pittsburgh out of timeouts. You don't want to give them any more time than possible. There's a risk reward there of getting the first down, plus taking the chance of pushing the ball up the field and having a turnover down this close to your own end zone. So good play selection, good call. Now it's up to your defense to respond.
Huber kicking it out of there. And this is Antonio Brown. And Brown out of bounds at about his own 47-yard line. So 104 remaining to be played here in the first half. Joe Montana and the 49ers took on Boomer Esiason and the Bengals in Super Bowl 23. Joe Cool led the 49ers on a 92-yard drive, culminating in a game-winning TD pass to John Taylor. The 49ers won 20-16, Super Bowl 50 here on CBS on February the 7th. By the way, the Bengals will visit the 49ers next weekend for the first time since 2007. The clock is ticking, frankly.
It's exciting getting out there to Levi Stadium, and not sure who's going to be there.
Here's Ben Roethlisberger. Pittsburgh out of timeouts.
One of these two teams could definitely be.
Roethlisberger behind Marcus Wheaton, his intended receiver. 2nd and 10.
Well, even though we've said the Steelers don't have any timeouts left because there is 59 seconds left, you can still use the whole field. You don't have to just work the boundaries or try and get out of bounds as quickly as you can. Yes, you would like to do that, but you can still use the middle of the field, run up, and have plenty of time to continue.
Pass to the near side, and this is Martavis Bryant on the sideline and bumped out of bounds inside the 40 at about the 36.5 by Vontaze Burfict.
Well, and that's what you can't do if you're the Bengals. You can't jump to the inside and allow the blockers to seal you. Josh Shaw is on the outside, and he jumps to the inside. You have to understand, you have to keep outside contained, try and force them back to the inside part of the field where the other defenders are pursuing.
So Roethlisberger now with a first down at the Cincinnati 36. Has time over the middle, diving catch inside the 30 made by Heath Miller, who has been crucial to their offense.
Well, and that's okay. That's okay. You get it in the middle of the field, you get a completion, come up here and either spike it or get a quick throw.
And the quick pass to this side is incomplete. And there's Chris Boswell, the Pittsburgh kicker. He's been good from 42 and from 47 yards so far today.
So this would be, if they don't get another yard, this would be 45-yard field goal. Well within his range.
Incidentally, Al Villanueva, the left tackle who was being looked at on the sideline a few minutes ago, back on the field for the Steelers.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Steelers run the ball here to pick up the first down. Bengals looking in a cover 2 shell, so they don't have a number of guys inside that run area, but decide to push it up the field through the air.
Bench throw is complete, and Antonio Brown reaching for the first down and doesn't appear to have it. Mike Tomlin on the far side of the field trying to make the measurement for the official.
Well, if you go by his forward progress, it's a first down, but the clock is going to keep running, but Antonio Brown goes backwards. It goes backwards, and that's where they mark it. So they mark him going out of bounds and mark it as a stop. The clock stops.
.27 seconds on the clock. Remember, Pittsburgh out of timeouts.
Well, and they're going for it. They don't have their field goal unit on the field. A little bit shocking to me, Greg. I think that go ahead and make this a 2-possession game.
They're trying to get the right personnel on the field and get them situated. Still plenty of time on the play clock. And now
The previous play is under review.
they are going to review this on the sideline. Well, Mike Tomlin continues to plead his case on the far side.
See, it's your forward momentum or your forward progress. And where is the play done? Right there is his forward progress. So where he catches it, he has the first down, but he goes backwards out of bounds. What the official does is he marks it where he goes out of bounds. So if you do it for forward progress where he caught it, then you've got to keep the clock running.
And where would you have marked that out of bounds?
I would have marked it where he caught it and his feet came down. Now, he did try spinning out and making a play, but his forward progress was where he caught the ball.
Mike Carey back in New York. Weigh in, would you please?
Yeah, Trent, you're close. So forward progress when you have contact by the defender is the exact spot of the ball when the receiver has control. As long as he maintains control when he hits the ground and goes out of bounds, as he did, then he will be given that most forward spot and wind the clock. Difficult to tell from these angles whether he had the first or not. Well, let's see what happens.
All right, Mike, thank you.
But Mike, let me ask you real quick before you leave us, is if it ends up that this is something you can't be reviewed, because if they end up marking it as forward progress, then they wind the clock. It's more because the play was blown dead and he went out of bounds, and that's where they marked it. They can't all of a sudden, because that's more a judgment call with the forward progress, correct?
You can rule forward progress as it relates to a first down.
Even
so
on a
that's
replay?
Very clear in the rule book.
Okay,
even in the replay.
Okay.
All right, here's John Perry.
After reviewing the play stands. As called on the field. Fourth down.
Now let me ask you, do you think that's due to the fact that after Antonio Brown was being tackled, he turned and made progress going forward, and that's what got him out of bounds? Because if you go out of bounds going backwards, it's one thing, but he turns and goes forward as he goes out of bounds.
But he didn't go forward past where his forward progress had been stopped.
Correct.
This stood because you couldn't tell exactly where the first down was in relationship to the ball.
All right, Mike, thank you. What's happening here is a Chris Boswell 45-yard field goal attempt on its way and good. And with 22 seconds on the clock now, Pittsburgh extends its lead to 16-7. And Trent, that's a big spot because it's the difference between a field goal attempt and then looking for another 6 or 7 points on the board.
Well, and that's big for them to stop the clock and get, obviously you want to get the call right, but for the Steelers, they were lining up to go for it on fourth down, so it gave them some time to think about it and also evaluate, getting the field goal gives you, now it's more than a one-possession game, so it helped out everybody in terms of getting the call right.
Don't you feel like we've had a game's worth of stuff in one half?
It's been a whirlwind, and it started in pregame warm-up with the, with the talking going on and both teams coming together at midfield, losing the leading quarterback in the National Football League in terms of his quarterback rating, Andy Dalton, playing at a high level, losing him to a thumb injury, and it just continued from there. So a lot of drama. We still have 22 seconds left before halftime, so you never know.
Brandon Tate is deep. And this one won't be returned either. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Andy Dalton had just thrown an interception and then hurt his right thumb with the contact right there. Left the game. A.J. McCarron came on, promptly threw a 66-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Green. A.J. to A.J.
Yeah, and it's not a good sign to see Andy Dalton with a cast already on that thumb. Good choice here by the Bengals, taking a knee and getting it into halftime. They will come out and have the ball first in the second half.
So 16-7 with the time running down here in the first half. And there is much to talk about in the locker room on both sides. Cincinnati will get the kickoff and possession of the ball first in the second half. I'll tell you, it's the first half that's had just about everything you could possibly ask for. Let's go down to Jamie.
All right, Coach, the Bengals without Andy Dalton the rest of the game. How does that change your defensive attack with A.J. McCarron in?
It doesn't change what we'll do whatsoever. I'd imagine it'll change their approach, but we got a game plan that's based on their personality and defending their people. It's not going to change how we play.
Do you think the chippiness and the extracurriculars are helping?
I'm sorry?
Do you think the chippiness and the extracurriculars are helping or hurting your game?
It's a non-factor. We got two good teams that are fighting here. It's big-time significance. I'd hate that the real story of competition is lost in a few extracurricular things. We're going to control it. They're going to control it. It's going to be a good football game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Jamie, thank you very much. That is the end of our first half. 16-7, Pittsburgh in the lead. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 50. It hasn't been the friendliest matchup in the National Football League all season long. Back here at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati as we get set to start the second half. 16-7, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the lead over Cincinnati. A reminder, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Welcome back to Cincinnati. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green. We know what we've seen in the first half. What do you look for? What has to be done in the second half?
Well, this game has been everything we expected and more when you talk about what both these teams have been able to produce, the chippiness that's been going on in the first half. But for the Steelers, they just need to keep the pedal to the metal. They need to keep that offense going. They've been able to put more yards on the board against this Cincinnati defense than any other offense in the first half this season. And for Cincinnati, I think it's important. A.J. McCarron, it's his position, he's now the quarterback the rest of the way. It's important to get him into a rhythm in this second half. So that falls on the shoulders of offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson.
Brandon Tate is deep. And we'll see how soon they try to get A.J. McCarron in rhythm. This one will not be returned, and so we'll start at the 20-yard line. The first thing that you notice about first half statistics in this game, Trent, is time of possession.
Well, it's outstanding what the Steelers have been able to do, and really they've gone to more of that hurry-up tempo. They started doing that against the Seahawks. They liked it. They had success with it, but you can see they're controlling things, and it really comes down to third down conversions. 7 of 11 third down conversions in the first half.
By the way, you saw all the highlights on the NFL Today halftime show. The Jets leading Tennessee, Kansas City leading San Diego. If those leads hold up, Cincinnati would need to win this game to clinch a playoff spot today, and of course they would clinch the division title. Still a long way to go. First down from the 20-yard line. McCarron throwing this side of the field, and that is complete to Jeremy Hill, and that'll be a 5-yard gain to the 25-yard line. AFC playoff picture looks like this. Both Kansas City and New York leading in their respective game. And Pittsburgh knocking on the door, trying to get in.
Well, I think over the course of the next month, there's a lot of tiebreakers that come into play as well. It'd be too confusing to try and explain in the amount of time we have. But A.J. McCarron, good decision that time off the play fake, not pushing the ball up the field, forcing it into coverage, just taking the check down and making this a more manageable second down.
On 2nd and 5, McCarron throws far side, intercepted, touchdown, Pittsburgh, William Gay. That is William Gay's 6th career interception return touchdown, and that ties him with Rod Woodson for the all-time lead for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tremendous job by Gay understanding what was going to happen on this play.
We have a penalty marker on the field. Here's John Perry.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, excessive celebration, number 22. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And William Gay continues the somewhat ridiculous celebration of the touchdown on the sideline.
And here's William Gay, and what he's going to do is he's going to see what's going on, and there's just going to be a swing route here. McCarron not recognizing that Gay had fallen off the outside slant. Jumped it for the pick six.
The extra point is good. Talk about putting a damper on the home crowd. That is just what William Gay just did. Well, in this game, A.J. McCarron has thrown his first NFL touchdown and his first NFL interception. The Steelers now with 10 points off 2 takeaways. And it's a 23-7 Steeler lead. As Andy Dalton relegated to viewer status for the rest of this game, and who knows how long down the stretch of this season.
Well, for the Bengals' sake, they'd like to get him back here in a few weeks. Anytime you see a cast on his hand, that's not a good sign, but we don't have official word yet on what the actual injury is.
Tate from the 5-yard line. Across the 30 and out to about the 32. Let's go back to the interception.
William Gay on the outside, just in a zone coverage and reading it all the way. You're going to see on this next replay, A.J. McCarron was under serious pressure from James Harrison coming off the edge, and that's why he was not able to make the read. He had to get rid of it quickly. He went for the slant on the outside and then started getting a swing to the slot. See the pressure Harrison put on McCarron on that play.
Here's Jeremy Hill. And at 23-7, how long do the Cincinnati Bengals stay with the original game plan?
Well, you have to start adjusting it right now. You have to. You need to get in some kind of rhythm, as we said coming out of the half. A.J. McCarron needs to get in a kind of rhythm. You may see him go to some kind of hurry up. I think it would be easier if Andy Dalton was in to go to that hurry up because he's had a lot more work at it, a lot more reps at it. But this is now A.J. McCarron's team, and moving forward, you need to try and get him in, as I said, into a rhythm.
Just a 1-yard pickup, 2nd and 9. And that one batted down as it left his hand at the line of scrimmage. Cameron Hayward. Looked like Hayward got one of his paws on it.
Yeah, he's able to read the eyes of A.J. McCarron, and as a defensive player, as a rusher, if you can't get through that initial wave, then you try reading the quarterback and see, so then you can jump up and knock it down. That's what Hayward did.
So now it's 3rd and 9, and Giovanni Bernard in the backfield. McCarron with time throwing, and that's complete out to midfield, and A.J. Green making the good catch. A yard across the 50-yard line for a first down, 18-yard pickup.
Well, this is just finding a hole in the zone. A.J. McCarron getting to A.J. Green on the dig route, just inside edge of the numbers there, finding that window.
A.J. now 5 catches for 111 yards, 66 of them coming on the touchdown pass.
That won't be the first time that I mess up which A.J. I'm talking. A.J. to A.J., right?
McCarron under pressure and going down back at his own 43-yard line. Will Allen blitzing from his safety position. And down on the field is Will Allen.
Well, and McClendon and Allen end up running into each other. Allen coming off the slot, and that's who A.J. McCarron sees, so he ducks underneath it. Here's Allen coming off the edge. McClendon will be coming from the middle. McCarron sees it, ducks underneath, and
McClendon at 6'3", 310, and 202-pound Will Allen running right into him. That's the menorah at Fountain Square here in Cincinnati, and those of you celebrating this 8th night of Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah to you. That pass is complete to A.J. Green, adds to his numbers inside the 40 to about the 36 of the Steelers.
Well, and they just went on the deep dig route, this time to the right side of the field after picking up the first down to the left side. It's nice to have the luxury of a big receiver that can get that high as a quarterback trying to find those windows up the field on that long a down and distance. You have to leave it up there a little high, and A.J. Green hauling it in.
Yeah. McCarron now 7 of 11 throwing the football. This is Bernard. And he ducks inside the 35 to about the 33. and Daniel McCullers, who replaced Steve McClendon, making the stop. That's McClendon on the sideline, and also going out on that same play was Will Allen as we go down to Jamie. Jamie's in the concussion protocol.
Talking to the blue hat, getting evaluated.
2nd and 7. We'll get back to Jamie. Karen, under pressure. And that is Marvin Jones, and Jones close to a first down. Now to Jamie Erdahl.
I've been cleared by the blue hat, so I'm allowed to speak about this stuff now. Will Allen's getting his neck worked on. He looked like he wanted to get up and about, but now he's getting some massage work. Steve McClendon motioned to his stomach, rib area, but now he's up and about. Nothing official from the team yet.
All right, Jamie, we were talking with Coach Mike Tomlin yesterday, and they are relatively healthy, at least coming into this game they were. He said it's nice to be able to pick and choose who you're going to play when it's more than just out of necessity.
Yeah, that's one of the hard parts as a head coach, figuring out who your inactives are going to be, and it's nice this time of year to be able to pick it off a choice.
Down the sideline, incomplete. A.J. Green was open, and I don't think McCarron spotted him soon enough.
Well, and he floated a little bit much. This one got away from him as A.J. Green was working that left sideline, and he found a gap between the corner and safety as Steelers were in a cover 2. A.J. McCarron not recognizing it right away and just floated a little bit too much as the Bengals line up for a field goal.
So Marvin Lewis is not going to go for it on 4th and 2. Instead, here is Nugent lining this up from 46 yards out. And it's good. 10-10 to play in the third quarter. The Bengals add 3 and trail 23-20. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back to Cincinnati in just a moment. Very clear Marvin Lewis thought getting some points on the board rather than going for it on 4th and 2 was most important with so much time remaining on the clock.
Well, it is a confidence builder for A.J. McCarron as well.
Bud Dupree, rookie linebacker, questionable return with a bruised tailbone. Breaking it to the outside, trying to turn the corner, and will not be able to do so. Here's Ben today. He's had a busy day and a good one.
And he's been able to spread the ball around. We talked about at the top all the different weapons that he has. He's getting everybody involved. Antonio Brown has 5 receptions. Heath Miller with 8 receptions. Martavis Bryant with 4 receptions. So he continues to spread the ball around and use all of his weapons at his disposal, attacking this Bengals defense.
And you know, we were talking with him about D'Angelo Williams replacing Le'Veon Bell. Said, does anything change? He goes, no, D'Angelo Williams does everything well and is always where he should be.
Everybody was very complimentary about the preparation and the work ethic that D'Angelo Williams brought to the team.
That's D'Angelo Williams on the receiving end across the 25 and out to about the 28-yard line. Steelers built up their lead in the first half with a touchdown and 3 field goals. Only punted it away once.
Well, Burfict was slow getting up on that one after the tackle of D'Angelo Williams. Looks like the officials are going to make him leave the field.
Burfict is number 55. And seems spending a little extra time on the ground and holding the sides of his helmet. And he takes the slow walk off the field. They will look at him on the sideline and find out if he needs any further evaluation.
Well, Marvin Lewis talked to us about, you know, because he missed games last year with the knee injury and he missed games at the start of this year recovering from the knee injury. He said this defense is a different defense when Vontez is on the field. And Ray Maualuga, the other inside linebacker, is a different linebacker when Burfict's on the field. So it was very crucial getting him back this season, and I'm sure they're going to do some serious evaluation because they need him for the long haul.
Burfict left the game earlier, came back in, and now sidelined again. We'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Williams. And right in the middle of the play. Michael Johnson and Ray Maualuga.
Well, this is a big third down for the Bengals defense. You know, they have to get something going. That was a nice stop on second down, stopping the run, actually making the Steelers lose some yardage. They try and get the crowd into it as you hear them turn it up in here.
3rd and 2. Play clock down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. Got it away on time and under pressure. Roethlisberger goes down. That's Carlos Dunlap.
Dunlap came into this game with 9.5 sacks, timing the snap perfectly to get around the edge, around Gilbert. Roethlisberger, no chance to get rid of that ball.
I asked you earlier about how likely a team is to rally in the absence of their star like Andy Dalton.
You need everybody to take their game to a whole nother level when that happens.
Out of bounds at the 27-yard line. That is where A.J. McCarron and the offense will start. Back at Paul Brown Stadium, Will Allen has returned to the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the secondary as McCarron starts on first down, and the give is to Giovanni Bernard, and he doesn't get much at all. Hey, a reminder tonight, what went into making the new Star Wars movie? Find out when 60 Minutes goes behind the scenes with director J.J. Abrams tonight. Only CBS. A 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9 for the Bengals. Pass over the middle and nobody there except Ryan Shazier, and it was short of him, so it's incomplete. 3rd and 9.
When A.J. Green was on a drag route underneath coming from the left, he reads it as zone, so he sits down, and A.J. McCarron under pressure reads it as man, so he throws it out in front. That's where some of that timing comes into play in terms of reps, the amount of work that A.J. McCarron gets with A.J. Green in those types of situations.
So now McCarron and the Bengals need the 37-yard line for a first down. Has time. On the move. Gonna go deep. Far sideline. Diving catch out of bounds. Marvin Jones had no chance of making that catch and staying in bounds.
Well, and that was an adjustment on the fly. Marvin Jones realizing as A.J. McCarron flushes out of the pocket to the left, he breaks off his route and goes to that far sideline. Just the momentum of A.J. McCarron on the move made that ball go out of bounds.
Antonio Brown is back to receive. He returned a punt 71 yards last week against Indianapolis for a touchdown. Line drive kick. Brown at his own 24. Looking for running room, doesn't find any, and goes down at the 22-yard line. Next Sunday, it's an NFL on CBS doubleheader. First, the Titans taking on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Trent and I will be in Indianapolis, where the Colts will host the Texans. In Game 2, a huge AFC showdown as the 10-2 Denver Broncos visit these Pittsburgh Steelers. It all begins at noon Eastern Time with the team that takes you all the way to Super Bowl 50. JB and the guys on the NFL Today. It has been a tough day on the Cincinnati Bengals injury-wise. Andy Dalton, tight end Tyler Eifert, safety George Iloka out. Vontaze Burfict with a neck injury. His return questionable. Steelers from their own 23 and bend to throw. Sideline, complete to the 40-yard line to Marcus Wheaton. And Vontaze Burfict back onto the field.
This is just a comeback on the outside and understanding the coverage that you have. Marcus Wheaton has plenty of room there. Leon Hall giving a big cushion, not trying to get beat deep, and that's just pitch and catch.
So many options for Ben Roethlisberger. You're a defensive coordinator. Who do you cover and when?
Well, and that's the difficult part, because coming into this game, they're without Adam Jones. Iloka missed a lot of time in practice. Now he's out of this game. Leon Hall missed time in practice. He's playing, but he's not at 100%, so there's a lot of matchup issues for the Bengals.
Far side of the field, that's complete to Martavis Bryant, and look who's there to make the play. Vontaze Burfict. I called him a lightning rod earlier. That might be understating it.
That definitely could be understating it, but he's left the game twice because of neck soreness. He just continues the battle, and he's back in there again. That time making a big tackle for loss.
5:45 to play in the third quarter. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. D'Angelo Williams, and Williams dodges one tackler, makes it out to the 40-yard line, where Vontaze Burfict again in on the tackle. What a busy guy.
Look at all the receivers. Ben Roethlisberger getting everybody involved, spreading the ball around. You see the yards there: 60, 54, 50, 51. I mean, there's so many guys involved. It's hard for a defense to dial in on one person.
In the walking boot on the sideline, Adam Jones enticing the crowd to get loud. 3rd and 9. Roethlisberger pulls it down again, throws incomplete. That's Antonio Brown. Brown still on his feet, 35 and out of bounds. What did Marvin Lewis tell us about telling his linemen about pursuing Ben Roethlisberger?
He said you have to keep the pursuit up. He watched the Seattle tape. He said there was plenty of times with Seattle that they were trying to put pressure on Ben Roethlisberger, and they just continued. They stopped, and they started running downfield thinking the ball was already gone. He said you have to continue through until you hear the whistle, because Roethlisberger can do so much outside of the realm of what the play is supposed to be.
Now at the Cincinnati 34, 26-yard pickup. Double reverse, Martavis Bryant. And he's hit hard at the 35. Forward, let's see, no fumble. He is ruled down. Ruled down by contact. And a little bit more pushing and shoving between Bryant and Burfict. And now on the far side of the field, let's take a look at the play. And he looks like, Martavis Bryant looks like he was down by contact before the ball did come out. So it's 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger steps up, away from trouble, flips it to Heath Miller, and Miller to about the 31. Let's get an update from New York, the NFL Today. JB, Coach Bill Cowher.
Bears come storming back.
Yeah, off of Kirk Cousins' interception, Matt Forte 7 yards in for a touchdown, 14 unanswered points, 21-21. Chicago ties it up against the Redskins.
I didn't think Greg wanted to hear me say the Bears come growling back. Anyway, back to Greg Gumbel.
That was really good, JB. Look at the NFC North, where Green Bay and Minnesota rule the roost, and Chicago pretty much out of the picture. And here comes Vontaze Burfict to the sideline again.
Well, and that was, once again, the officials directing the trainers towards Burfict to, guessing once again, dealing with the neck.
As you well know, if you leave it to the player, they'll never come out.
You won't. It's just part of who you are.
3rd and 7.
How many times you walk in a production meeting and somebody says, "Hey, how you doing? How you feeling?" And every one of them is like, "Oh, I'm good. Everything's fine. I'm ready to roll." So,
and it's never true.
Right.
Roethlisberger, far side of the field, and it is caught. Penalty markers thrown as Antonio Brown made the catch on Dre Kirkpatrick. And it's going to go against the Bengals.
That's an unbelievable throw by Ben Roethlisberger, but an even better catch. He catches this with one arm, pins it against his body. Be interesting to see if he gets both feet in. Let's see. One. I don't know about that second one.
I don't know about the right foot either.
But if it's pass interference on Kirkpatrick.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 27. Penalties decline. Ruling as a catch. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh.
Antonio Brown.
Well, here's the thing. Do you challenge it, and then all of a sudden the holding comes back into play? It's a first down anyway.
Cincinnati is challenged. The previous play of a completed catch.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough with 2.5 to play in the third. Back here in Cincinnati, John Perry has taken a look under the hood.
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass. The right foot of the receiver never touched inbounds. Incomplete pass. Cincinnati is not charged with the timeout. It'll be 1st and 10 after enforcing the defensive holding prior to the pass.
So we were questioning whether or not it was worthwhile even challenging on that play, Trent.
Well, and you're basically all you're saving is about 7 yards. So it's you're burned up a challenge that you have. Yes, you're right. There's only 1 foot down. We said that going to commercial that it was going to be overturned, but you have to weigh the fact of keeping that challenge for something, you know, that ultimately is about a 7-yard decision here. In both yardage areas, you're in field goal range already. So that was Marvin Lewis decided to go for it and got it overturned and picked up that extra 7 yards.
It is a first down for the Steelers at the Cincinnati 26, and Roethlisberger with time to throw. Penalty markers thrown in the backfield as he hits Heath Miller inside the 25. And let's check the flag. This is going to be a holding call against Pittsburgh.
Ruling on the field is a catch. There is no foul for offensive holding. Judgment was an overpower.
Wow.
Judgment was an overpower.
So the first indication was a holding call against Pittsburgh. And then after some discussion, they're picking that flag up.
And just to go over what I was talking about, evidently you win that first challenge, you still maintain your 2 challenges. So Marvin Lewis still has 2 challenges at his disposal.
And everybody has their full quota of timeouts with 2 minutes to play here in the third. Roethlisberger to Heath Miller inside the 20, diving inside the 15 to the 14-yard line, and that'll be a first down.
Well, that's Heath Miller's 10th reception on the day, as you see Burfict leaving or getting back into the bench area.
He just wants to play. And on his way to the locker room with the blue hat, the concussion protocol man. On first down, Williams with no gain, and we go down to Jamie.
Well, Greg, I know Vontaze Burfict has been in and out of this game with that neck injury, but that is the first time he's had the conversation with the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. Burfict actually came over to Marvin Lewis to tell him he's going into the locker room, but you're right, he's just resisting staying on the sideline right now. I'll let you know.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it in the way he plays the game.
Yeah, you could tell he was irritated that he had to. That's why he ran in the locker room. He was hoping to go in and pass the test and come back out, I'm sure, grab his helmet and attempt to get back in the game.
Little red zone defense, 2nd and 10. 10th play of this drive, Roethlisberger to throw. Has time, throwing, incomplete. Intended for number 11, Marcus Wheaton, and Sean Williams got a hand on it. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Well, and with the score 23-10, it's important on 3rd and 10 not to force it. That time, Ben tried forcing it a little bit. The field goal is an important part of it because it would make it a 16-point game. Yes, it would still be a 2-possession game, but now you're requiring the Bengals to get 2 two-point conversions to try and tie it up. So don't take too many risks because of the location of the field you're in.
Roethlisberger sidesteps the rush, throws over the middle, and that's complete, but Antonio Brown maybe got a yard on the play. And so that'll bring the field goal unit on, or will it?
Well, on 4th and 9, I can't imagine they're not going to kick the field goal. As I said, make this a 16-point game. So,
well, Mike Tomlin's
the quarter run out.
Mike Tomlin's going to reserve judgment until after the break, and they'll switch ends of the field. End of 3, 23-10. Pittsburgh back after this message and a word from your local station.
This is the end of the third.
Back for the start of the 4th. To remind you, the executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Harold Bryant, the president of CBS Sports, David Burson, and here in Cincinnati, our producer Bob Monsbach, our director Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl, and the rest of our crew as we start the 4th. 23-10, Pittsburgh in the lead. This will be a 31-yard field goal attempt. And that kick is on its way and is good. Ben Roethlisberger, you saw him on the sideline, hates settling for 3, doesn't he?
You see him shaking his head. That's just the competitiveness that he has. He wants to get touchdowns, wants to continue pushing the ball down the field, but it's a smart decision to take the field goal.
They remind you, Thursday, only on NFL Network, the Bucs chasing for wild card spot heats up when they take on the Rams. Then it's a special Saturday edition of Thursday Night Football. Jets and the Cowboys continue their push for a playoff spot. 2 big showdowns this week, only on NFL Network.
See offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson and A.J. McCarron going over that play call list. I would imagine here in the 4th quarter they're going to have to go to more of an up-tempo. They may even go some of the no-huddle. How comfortable A.J. McCarron is that, I'm not sure, but you could see them going over that game plan. I'm sure he was asking A.J., what is it you feel most comfortable with? What plays do you like best so that I know what to call in those given situations?
How deeply into the playbook does a backup quarterback get, considering his limited reps during the week?
Well, you get deep into the playbook because you're responsible for knowing the whole playbook. The problem is the reps. So you're not getting many reps during the week of practice because in this case, he's running the practice. He's running the practice squad. He's running the look team for the defense, so he's not getting many snaps of his own offense.
From JB and Coach Bill Cowher in New York.
Buffalo battling from 10 down.
Yeah, Mike Gillislee right here, 19 yards out, his first career touchdown, and the Buffalo Bills tie up the Philadelphia Eagles 20-20.
Greg Gumbel, Trent Green.
All right, guys, thank you.
Number 73
Meanwhile, the
is
NFC playoff picture.
Number 73.
Do not count. Well, you can't count anybody out.
Not at this point
in the NFC East. Washington leading Chicago, and the Eagles doing battle with Buffalo. First down from the 20-yard line. Let's see what Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator of the Bengals, has in store for A.J. McCarron. McCarron on the move, throws far sideline, no chance there, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. You know, here's an offensive coordinator in Hugh Jackson that you've got to wonder what it does to his original game plan once you lose your starting quarterback.
Well, it does. It completely changes it because you don't have the ability to call all the plays you work specifically for that week. So you have to go back to more general terms, more general plays that you know that A.J. McCarron is comfortable with because those are what he ran in the preseason. Those are the ones that he's gotten a limited amount of reps at.
McCarron, straight drop, throwing, and that's complete across the 40 to about the 43-yard line to Marvin Jones.
Well, I think they've dialed in on the route that A.J. McCarron likes to throw the most. This is the deep dig by the outside receiver, the inside slot there. Sanu is clearing it out, so Marvin Jones has a chance to catch that dig. He's already had 2 completions on the same route to A.J. Green. So
McCarron wanted to go deep, pulled it down, and then dives across the 45 to the 47-yard line. You know, as a young quarterback, and you get that pick 6 that William Gay had on him in the first half, probably takes a lot of inner strength not to start to doubt yourself.
Well, and that's the thing as a quarterback, you have to have a short memory in terms of that. It's Coach Vermeil always used to use the term one snap and clear. It doesn't matter if it's an interception or a touchdown. You got to forget about what happened before and focus on getting the job done the next play.
On 2nd and 6, that quick pass across midfield and into Pittsburgh territory. Marvin Jones again pulling it down, and Ryan Shazier, as he often is, again in on the tackle.
Well, and for A.J. McCarron, they're going to have to give him some time to try and push the ball down the field. And you know, for the Steelers defensively, Keith Butler, defensive coordinator, and the guys up front for the Steelers, they're just going to be having their arms down in a racer stance trying to get back there, because they know that with the Bengals being down a couple scores, they're going to have to put it up.
4-down territory for Cincinnati yet?
I think it is, yes.
3rd and 2. Going to give it to Bernard, and Bernard has a first down and more inside the 35 to the 31, where Will Allen makes the tackle. 18-yard pickup.
Great job by the right side of the offensive line, creating space and pushing Timmons right out of the hole.
Now McCarron, another straight drop, and throwing, and has his man inside the 10, spinning down at the 8-yard line, Mohamed Sanu. 23 yards, and it's 1st and goal.
Well, and that's going to help the confidence of A.J. McCarron. Sanu just working up that inside slot there. It's just a double go route, double seam route. You're putting the pressure on the safety to pick a side, and Sanu wins up the numbers. Good throw by McCarron.
1st and goal. This is Bernard. No gain, really. James Harrison making the tackle. There is Vontez Burfict back on the field, but on the bench from the locker room.
See the Bengals taking their time in the huddle, making sure everybody's on the same page. More for A.J. McCarron than anybody, I would believe.
Jeremy Hill in the backfield with the young quarterback on 2nd and goal. McCarron, that quick pass to about the 6 to Hill. And it'll be 3rd and goal. And Hugh Jackson going down again. What applies for A.J. McCarron?
Well, I think you still have the full field. I do think this is 4-down territory, so you have 2 downs to get it in. You don't need to force it in. But obviously this part of the field, it's going to be smaller windows anyway. So I see another pass play coming here, but if they don't make it, this is the time of the game that you'd have to go for it on 4th.
McCarron running out of time, trying to get away, and can't, and he goes down to the 9-yard line. Cameron Hayward with the stop. And here comes the field goal unit.
I got to question this a little bit. Looks like they're bringing the field goal unit out. That's just not getting enough reps there. Instead of staying in the pocket, working through your progressions, trying to find the open guy, you could see if you're not completely comfortable with it, you're going 1 to 2 and then try and make something happen. You saw him drop his head and try and step up in the pocket as the Bengals attempt the field goal.
Down 16. They'll go for 3 and get it. 26-13, Steelers. .71 yards in 10 plays, and the Bengals get the field goal to move to within 13 at 26-13 with 10:06 to play here in the 4th quarter.
Well, and the reason I was thinking go for it on 4th down is because it is a it's a 2-possession game. By getting the field goal, it's still a 2-possession game. Now you don't have to go for the 2-point conversions, but you don't give yourself much leeway.
Marcus Wheaton will not get a chance to run this one back. He will down it in the end zone, and Roethlisberger and company will start from their own 20-yard line. Heath Miller, good day catching a football today. 10 catches. It ties a career high for him for 66 yards.
Yeah, he had 10 catches last time these two teams played. Continuing his high output against these Bengals.
We talked about him as a security blanket. You had a security blanket or two in your day.
Yeah, he's hanging out in the studio back in New York right now. He was a good security blanket to go to. Tony Gonzalez was one of the best to ever play.
First down from the 20-yard line. And Roethlisberger going to come out throwing with all kinds of time. And over the middle, right in the middle of 5 Bengals, he finds Marcus Wheaton for a first down. And Vontaze Burfict back on the field.
Well, and I don't care what quarterback you are. You give this much time in the pocket, it's like throwing 7-on-7. You just stand back there and make your reads and find your lanes, especially a guy like Ben Roethlisberger with the weapons that he has at his disposal.
14-yard pickup, first down now at the 34. And Roethlisberger throws again, and again the completion, this time to Martavis Bryant. And he is out of bounds a yard short of another Pittsburgh first down. So it'll be 2nd and 1.
Well, just when you think the Steelers are going to go to a more conservative offense, run the ball, use the clock up, try and buy some time, they're still staying in the tempo of offense that they've been productive with for this last quarter of the season.
It's really hard to predict what Mike Tomlin's going to do, isn't it?
Yeah, Todd Haley's dialed in now with Ben Roethlisberger. Ever since that, both Roethlisberger and Haley told me that since that Seattle game, they've really gotten into a rhythm from a play calling and an offensive standpoint.
D'Angelo Williams gets the first down across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. Gives us an opportunity to remind you coming up, the Subway postgame show with JB and the guys back in New York with all the latest NFL scores, highlights, playoff scenarios, and analysis all coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Well, there's Todd Haley, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, and coming into this game, the Steelers were one of only 4 teams in NFL history to have 450-plus net yards in 4 consecutive games. Pretty great accomplishment by the Steelers.
Yeah, that'll work. That's across midfield to the 47-yard line. Martavis Bryant again. And Ben continues to dole out the receptions. Antonio Brown has 7. Heath Miller has 10. Marcus Wheaton has caught 4. Martavis Bryant has caught 7. And D'Angelo Williams has 2 out of the backfield.
When we mentioned Greg coming into this, because of the injuries in the secondary that the Bengals had, it was going to be hard to cover all of those guys. And as you can see by the production you just said, they've had a hard time today.
Hard to cover them all when you're healthy. 2nd and 4. Roethlisberger under pressure, got rid of it. Down the far sideline. Intercepted. Reggie Nelson, the NFL's interception leader, and that'll be number 8 on the season.
Well, and Roethlisberger was under pressure that time. We talked about him giving him the time to work through his progressions, but he was under heat, had to get rid of the ball. Nelson came over, got the interception.
A look at the John Roebling Bridge spanning the Ohio River as we welcome you back. And John Perry has gone under the hood for a review. And back in a hurry.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. 1st and 10, Cincinnati.
Boy, has Reggie Nelson made a habit of intercepting Ben Roethlisberger. That's 6 times he's picked him in the last 7 games against Pittsburgh.
Well, you mentioned the fact that he's leading the National Football League in interceptions this season with 8, and 3 of those 8 interceptions this season have come against Ben Roethlisberger.
since 2010, second only to Richard Sherman in the number of picks. So McCarron and the Bengal offense from their own 4. Good pop over the middle, and that is incomplete. Intended for Sanu. It'll be 2nd and 10. Remember what Mike Tomlin was telling us when we brought up the topic of turnovers. Like, very uncoach-like for Mike Tomlin. He said, I don't care about turnovers. It's where they come in the game.
It's at what point in time, what the crucial times of the game. And they said last time they played Cincinnati turned the ball over, but they didn't turn it over at the end. And that's when the Steelers turned the ball over was late. So he said, I don't have a problem with turnovers. I know turnovers are part of the game. It's when they happen and what part of the game they happen.
McCarron out of his own end zone. That's complete. And this is Giovanni Bernard, and Bernard out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. Giovanni Bernard, just 5'9", 205 in his 3rd year out of North Carolina.
On very contrasting styles between he and Jeremy Hill. Jeremy Hill, a bigger 235-pound back. Giovanni Bernard is more of your slasher and cutter, get in open space, and that's why he's in more on 3rd down. And now with the way the score is, he's going to be in pretty much every down now.
McCarron, that's complete across the 20-yard line to Marvin Jones, and Jones about a half a yard short of another first down. I assume Pittsburgh in that bend but don't break defensive philosophy right about now.
Well, and I think they're fine with the Bengals getting these shorter completions, using the clock, letting the clock wind. Now down under 6.5 minutes. Bengals trying to do a little bit more of an up-tempo.
McCarron going to give it to Bernard for a couple to about the 28. Steve McClendon, number 90, left the game earlier with an injury, is back onto the field for Pittsburgh.
And you can see the Bengals up at the line of scrimmage.
And Jeremy Hill has come back onto the field. First down. 5:50 to play. McCarron got his man across the middle and into midfield into Pittsburgh territory is Tyler Croft, the rookie tight end out of Rutgers. And it's going to come back. Holding penalty, sounded like it was Andrew Whitworth.
Croft was able to get down the middle of the field because of the cover 2. Here's Whitworth here at left tackle, going against James Harrison, coming off that edge. Gets that left arm hooked up around Harrison's neck, but when Harrison slips down, it draws the attention. Whether or not that's hold, but it looks like a hold.
So the line of scrimmage now back to the 18-yard line, and it's 1st and 20. And the clock moving, 5.5 to play. McCarron, intercepted. Picked off by Robert Golden. Golden back inside the 20-yard line. Third interception today by the Steelers, the 2nd off of McCarron.
When he has 3 wide receivers lined up to his left, all doing verticals, trying to clear out the safety and find those creases, and McCarron just with the overthrow as Golden's able to get the key interception here late in the 4th quarter.
Golden's first pick of the season. And with 5:14 to play in regulation, the Steelers looking to close this one out right here.
Well, and you have to remember before the interception, Greg, the penalty, the holding call on Whitworth. We'll take a look at it here in a second.
But it was a costly one, cost them first down.
Well, and they had ball around midfield also.
Yep. This is D'Angelo Williams, and Williams spinning to the outside, ducks inside the 10, and looks like he might have a first down. Let's go back.
Whitworth here on the end of the line. You're going to get Harrison coming off the edge Whitworth gets his left arm around the neck of Harrison, so that's what the official sees. But when Harrison slips down to the ground, that's what draws the attention as a takedown. Then the interception on the very next play.
Meanwhile, we have a Bengal down on the field. It is Sean Williams. We'll be back. That's Sean Williams, just the latest in a string of Cincinnati injuries in a brutally tough football game here this afternoon.
Well, and it's tough because they're trying to clinch the division here at home against their main rival, the Steelers, but also trying to wrap up a playoff spot. This is not the time of year that you want a bunch of guys injured as you're moving forward, trying to build some momentum towards the playoffs.
D'Angelo Williams to about the 3. And a little extra pushing and shoving, and penalty markers fly.
Well, it started with Vontez Perfect, and it looks like that's how.
I, for one, am shocked.
Yeah.
And still on the ground and still scuffling.
Well, now it's the Castro and Gilberry, it looks like. But the initial one was Burfict going against Roosevelt Nix that drew that initial flag. Some talking still going on.
Personal foul, defense, number 55, half the distance to the goal, first down.
So the penalty is on Burfict. It's a little bit of the shoving after the fact.
Yeah, it was right after the whistle that the penalty came in. You could see the pile, and all of a sudden Burfict and Nix came flying through that pile.
Hey, we promised Chippy at the top of the day. We delivered Chippy.
Chippy was from before, probably 70% of the stadium was even full because started right during warm-up. So it's continued all the way through.
First and goal from inside the 2.
This will be D'Angelo up the middle. Maybe off tackle, but
pushing, not getting there, and shoved back. And again,
and there it is again.
Vontez Burfict. In the AFC North, Cincinnati had a chance to clinch the division with a win here today. Not going to happen. Pittsburgh staying alive, very much alive, in the wild card race. They will move to 8-5. If they win, the Jets looking like they will move to 8-5. Kansas City with a 10-3 lead over San Diego in the fourth quarter. If they hold on, they're also 8-5. And we get a timeout call by Mike Tomlin.
Timeout Pittsburgh, the team's first. 30-second timeout.
There is Andy Dalton. By the way, we have received no further word from the Cincinnati Bengals on the nature of that injury, only that it's his right thumb. Meanwhile, for these two teams, Pittsburgh goes home to play the Denver Broncos, then travel to Baltimore and travel to Cleveland. Cincinnati going to the West Coast to meet the 49ers, then going to Denver, and then they finish at home against the Ravens.
Well, and that's 2 big road contests back-to-back, long trips for Cincinnati. And when you see Andy Dalton in a cast, you think A.J. McCarron's going to be the starting quarterback at least for the next couple of weeks. As you said, Greg, that big contest next week for Pittsburgh against Denver.
On second and goal, this is D'Angelo Williams to the end zone for the touchdown. His second touchdown run of the day and his 8th of the season.
You talked at the top about the patience that he's had to have and what he learned from Le'Veon Bell, allowing the blockers to set their blocks. That time to Castro setting the inside edge, him getting around it, having the patience to follow the blockers and get through there.
He has a personality that's just absolutely winning. He is absolutely ebullient.
We thought he was gonna hang out with us for a while. He
right.
You know,
he was in no hurry.
He was in no hurry to get out of there.
Boswell's kick is good, and for the 5th straight game, the Pittsburgh Steelers have put 30 or more points on the board. 33-13 Steelers. Back at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, 33-13, the Pittsburgh lead now. What you're used to. A reminder for you coming up, the Subway post-game show. JB and the guys for all the latest NFL scores and highlights and analysis coming up on the Subway post-game show. Yeah, Ben said you're used to cold weather and ice and snow and cold playing on the water in the AFC North.
Well, but he wasn't complaining when we told him that it was going to be in the 60s. So he had a very good day today. 30 of 39, 282 yards. No, he didn't have any touchdown passes with that one interception, but he's going to take it with a 20-point lead here. Just under 4 minutes to go.
McCarron to Bernard, out of the backfield and out of bounds as he crosses the 25 to about the 28-yard line.
You know, and it's always good when you're able to come up with a victory and you say, well, I'm not happy with the way I played, or I'm not happy with the production. They did have to settle. The Steelers did have to settle for 4 field goals as opposed to getting those conversions and getting touchdowns. So there are still things they can improve on as they're moving forward here and getting ready for Denver next week.
With all the chippiness, Trent, here today, did you think that the Steelers controlled themselves a little bit better than the Bengals did?
You know, I do. I think that it started early, obviously, with the warm-ups. Burfict was involved in all of it for Cincinnati, or the majority of it. Antonio Brown maybe took it a little too far on a couple of occasions, but I think he got things under wrap, especially in the second half with some of the talking he was doing. But for the most part, I think that the Steelers handled it better than what the Bengals did.
Yeah, and Mike Tomlin said he might have addressed it earlier in the week, but not so much as game time came around.
Well, and he even said to Jamie at halftime, going in at half, he said, you know, it's just part of the game, and you understand it, you manage it. You know, but he likes the guys playing with emotion. He likes them. It's just those costly penalties at key moments that he's not a real big fan of.
And he said, like most coaches will, that you pretty much depend on your team leaders to keep that in check.
Well, and that's what he said. He likes handing a lot of things internally. Are those leaders that he has? You know, players want to hear from other players. They want to hear from within their own locker room. They don't want to be preached to all the time by coaches, and he understands that. Mike Tomlin is very dialed in on that.
Cincinnati uses a timeout to stop the clock with 2:40 to play. It has been a rough, tough day down on the football field, and there is number 55, Trevor Burfict. Antonio Brown, as you mentioned. Trevor Burfict, or Vontez Burfict, excuse me.
There's DeCastro and Gilbury. They're both laying on their sides, just tugging at each other's face masks. So it doesn't matter where you are in the pile-up or where you are in the field. You got to comment one way or another.
McCarron looking and throwing the far sideline, and that is complete to Ryan Hewitt. Stays inbounds, and the clock continues to move.
Well, as much as the Bengals have missed having Andy Dalton out there for obvious reasons, they've missed having Tyler Eifert out there as well. Him leaving the game in the first quarter with a concussion, not returning, and even though he only had the 2 receptions, he's still the second leading receiver in terms of yards for the Bengals. So that's a big loss for him.
So they'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in Cincinnati. The Pittsburgh Steelers about to put the lock on a 33-13 game. It has been a hurtful day, especially for the Cincinnati Bengals, Trent.
Yeah, Andy Dalton on the interception, trying to make the tackle on Tuitt. He injures his throwing thumb, leaves the game. There's Tyler Eifert taking a big hit, has to leave the game with the concussion. two of the Bengals' biggest offensive weapons.
Watch it.
McCarron stepping up, going down. And you know, you can't say, well, the loss of those two changed the nature of the game, because the Steelers have looked pretty much full of purpose here today, but it didn't help the Bengals at all.
Yeah, when you look at what the Steelers were able to do that first possession, they drove down the length of the field, got a touchdown out of it. They look very dialed in from the beginning. You and I talked about that, just their attitude in the production meetings last night, just kind of their overall confidence that they had. Defense had a very good game plan, but when you lose two of your top three offensive weapons, it makes it easy.
This is Tyler Croft, the tight end, and he's inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. And we get a timeout called by Cincinnati. That is their second. Meanwhile, a look at the AFC playoff picture. Cincinnati would go from top seed, falling to number 3 with a 10-3 record. Kansas City a winner, New York Jets a winner. Indianapolis on the short end of a 44-16 score at Jacksonville with 5.5 to play, and Kansas City now a winner over San Diego.
Well, that whole Indianapolis, Houston, that whole how that's all going to play out. Jacksonville, I mean, it's that's almost as crazy as that NFC East.
Hey, funny thing, you and I are going to be in Indianapolis next week as the Colts host Houston. First down at the 18-yard line. Inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 5 is Marvin Jones. Once we wind down here, a little bonus coverage coming your way from Philadelphia, where the Eagles lead the Bills 23-20, just under 3.5 minutes to play in Philadelphia. That would be the Chip Kelly, Sean McCoy love fest going on.
Yes, I'm sure there have been hugs all around over there.
And still more to come after the game. First and goal. McCarron throwing, end zone, caught for the touchdown by Rex Burkhead. The third year back out of Nebraska, and that is his first touchdown of the season.
Well, and that's a great catch by Burkhead, but an even better throw from A.J. McCarron, putting this on the back shoulder. You see Burkhead just working up the seam. McCarron putting it on the back shoulder, keeping it away from Robert Golden.
You know, Trent, he has shown nice signs today, and it'll be interesting to see how he shows up in his next outing with a full week's worth of work.
Yeah, and they play San Francisco next week, and you're right, he'll get all the reps this week, assuming that Andy Dalton, he has a cast on his thumb. We haven't been told exactly what it is, but you put a cast on it, you got to assume he's not going to be back next week. So A.J. McCarron has shown some flashes today, had the nice deep ball to A.J. Green for the touchdown. That time there, understanding where Golden was and putting it on the back shoulder.
McCarron was 10 for 10 on that drive as Cincinnati closes to 33-20.
So not a perfect day, but for a guy that didn't get much work, he's only in his second year out of college, trying to get some reps. See Ken Zampese, the quarterback coach, talking with him there, trying to build him up, I'm sure. A lot of positives to take.
By the way, Ben Roethlisberger, as he stands now, is just 11 yards shy of 3,000 on the season.
I think he'll go into next week 11 yards shy, Greg.
Yeah. He would be the 10th. It'd be the 10th straight year, and only the 6th quarterback ever to do that, over 3,000 yards.
Well, as we anticipate the Bengals getting ready for an onside kick, you can see the numbers here. Number of attempts this season around the National Football League, 47, but only 6 of those being recovered. I don't know how quick you can do math, Greg, but I just know that's not a real good percentage.
I can't. Got to go 10 yards. It didn't. Then it rolls to a stop at the 44-yard line. D'Angelo Williams covering it for Pittsburgh. You want to know an interesting rule change? On an onside kick,
Set the game clock to 1:02.
on an onside kick, make all the receiving guys linemen. That would be great.
There'd be some collisions, and it would definitely be entertaining trying to bring that in. Trying to bring the ball in.
I'm going to say that percentage would go up. 1:02 to play.
Landry Jones now in the game for the Steelers at quarterback.
For a couple of kneel downs. And there's one. So the Pittsburgh Steelers about to win their second in a row and their fourth in their last 5 games. 38 points in a win over Oakland, 30 in a win over Cleveland. They lost 39-30 at Seattle and then beat up on Indianapolis 45-10, and they've got 33 on the board here this afternoon.
Well, they didn't get their 450-plus net yards of total offense today, but 355 against one of the best defenses in the National Football League, taking care of business.
You don't think anything could go wrong with the post-game handshakes, do you?
I can't imagine. The guys are pretty tired at this point.
All is peace and love out on the field as the clock winds down on a Pittsburgh win, and it's a big win on the road for Mike Tomlin. The Steelers improve to 8-5. The Bengals fall to 10-3. Final score, 33-20 to James Brown in the Subway postgame show.